Good evening and welcome to Sunday Night Satsang with myself, John Homewood, and
Michelle McLennan. Hi, everybody.
McLuhan. Hello, if you are joining us for the first time, welcome. We host these most Sundays, not all Sundays, but most Sundays, and it's just a gathering of like-minded people to set the frequency and tone for the week ahead, and more importantly, to anchor a field of light and presence within us in this moment, and to spread that light to the world around us at this time. The world needs more, I think, is light and peace and love.
Definitely.
Yeah. So thank you, and if you are joining us, please won't you let us know who you are. We can't make out from the little photographs that appear who you are, but if you could just type up your name and tell us where you're watching from. And during the evening, during the satsang, if you have any comments, please type them up for us. We love getting comments, and if you have any questions, we don't always get to them during the course of the satsang, but we will answer them later. So you're welcome to type them up, and we love getting the hearts. So thank you for that. Thank you. Yeah, and also if you like what we have to share and you find value in it, won't you please share it as well? Press the share button. And if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel. Thank you. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you for the hearts.
Out there.
Yes,
Hi, everybody.
Thank you. We'll just wait for
Welcome.
a few more people to join. Hello, Claire.
Been very cold here today.
Yes, a lot of rain last night. A lot of wind. We didn't have power for most of the day. I know Claire messaged me earlier to say that she hadn't had power.
Yeah,
I took down some trees, and the trees took down some power lines, so we've been out. Hello, Mariki and Hartmut.
Hi, Mariki.
Nice having you here. Yes.
And Kira, so there.
Oh, what was that? Come and call.
Silent.
Can't do that, yeah. So, hello, Sandra or Sandra from Cowie's Hill. Hello. Yeah. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, so just let us know who you are in the comments box, and do add your comments as we proceed through tonight's satsang. Satsang is a gathering. It's a like-minded gathering to center ourselves in the heart, the field of the heart. Wisdom sharing is part of it. We'll share some insights that we have, and tonight we're going to be looking at the secret of life. What is the secret of life? Do you know?
Yeah, do you?
Not really.
It's a secret.
Hopefully they can tell us. All right, so welcome, and we're going to start this evening as we usually do with a centering meditation, and then Michelle will share a little bit of astro update because you've got a full moon on Tuesday,
yeah.
And Michelle released her full moon video earlier on this afternoon. If you didn't get it, you can message us, but it is on Facebook, is it? Do you put it on Facebook yet?
I haven't done it on Facebook.
It's on YouTube. It's on our YouTube channel, which is Journeys of Awakening. It is on YouTube. Yeah. But we'll also put it up on Facebook tomorrow morning. So we'll have a little bit of an insight into that from Michelle, and then we'll do some sharing around the secret of life, and then Michelle will close the evening, and we'll choose an affirmation which we can use for the week ahead. So that's really the format of these satsangs.
And if for any reason we should lose you, because our signal's been going up and down all day, I think just stay on the page, and then we'll try and reconnect. Hopefully we won't have to, but just in case.
Yeah, we do drop out.
Because it has been dropping a lot because of the weather.
Big power problems.
Hi, Helen. Nice to see you here.
Hello, Helen. Hello.
Okay. Great.
Thank you all. So just settle back into your chairs or your couch or your floor, wherever you're sitting or lying, and just relax the body. Maybe you'd like to close the eyes. I like to close my eyes. And just settle down into experiencing life in this moment. The life that beats your heart. That life that animates your fingers and your toes. The life that breathes you, that enables you to see and hear. Is right here in this moment, here and now, present. Let's just take a moment or two to reconnect to this life that's within us. And let's start this evening by taking the breath of life, which is a deep in-breath, long deep in-breath right down to the solar plexus, and then a long releasing, surrendering breath out. dropping your shoulders. Take another deep breath in, blowing the tummy out as you breathe in, so then you really know that you're drawing the air down. And then a beautiful long breath out. And as you breathe out, just surrender to life in this moment. Just release all other times and all other challenges from your mind and just be here now with us. Take a third very deep breath in, right down to the toes this time, up to the top of the head as well. And then sigh it all out, just relaxing those neck muscles, the shoulders, the forehead. Just relaxing and being here now in this moment. Just become aware of the chair that you're sitting on. Become aware of the sensations coming into your body. Become aware of the floor under your feet. Become aware of the gentle in and out breath from the tip of your nose. Just see if you can pick up the temperature change between the in-breath and the out-breath. Become aware of any fragrances you can smell in the room right now. We have lovely incense burning. Become aware of anything you can hear right now. Become aware of the temperature of the room on your cheeks. Become aware of any discomfort in the body in this moment, any aches, any pains. No need to fix anything or change anything, just the awareness. Now just say to yourself, I wonder what my next thought is going to be. Let's try that again. Just say to yourself, I wonder what my next thought is going to be. Just become aware of the awareness that's waiting for the thought to appear. There's the awareness, and then there's the thinking mind. Take another deep breath in, and a long relaxing out breath. Just connect deeply with the life that animates the body. You might feel it as a field of energy, just underneath the skin maybe. Feel your body from the inside, from the tip of your toes, up your legs, up your torso, down your arms to your fingertips, up your neck, into your head and to the very crown of your head. Feel yourself suspended between Mother Earth and Father Sky. A unique expression of life in this moment. And you are the awareness of the body. In the same way that your awareness, you are aware of the sounds that you can hear, the pictures behind your eyelids. You are the awareness, the quiet, still awareness that's aware of the thoughts. Now let's bring our awareness to the center of our hearts. Let's use the power of intention to open our hearts wider and to allow life to flow through us, through our hearts. The heart has a magnetic field thousands of times more powerful than the brain. The heart is the organ that regulates, synchronizes the body. And the radiant field from the heart is also able to interact and influence the world around us. So let's use this power in this moment just to intentionally send light and love to our loved ones, to anyone in suffering or pain or ill health. Let's intentionally send this light and this love through your heart to anyone that you're in conflict with at the moment. Hold them in a bubble of beautiful light. See the innocence in them. See the innocence in yourself. For the innocence in you is the same innocence in them. Let's allow this light to radiate around this planet Earth, to bring in all of humanity into this beautiful, peaceful bubble of light. Take a deep breath in, long breath out. Bring your awareness slowly back into your hearts. Just say thank you for being guided to be here tonight, being guided to be a channel of light and love, to participate in the satsang. Say thank you to life for allowing you to be a conduit for love at this time. Take another deep breath in. Long releasing breath out. And maintaining that sense of presence and peace. You may gently open your eyes. And just see how much smoother the world around you looks right now. Thank you. Thank you for being with us tonight.
It was lovely. Thank you. Hi everybody. Welcome to Sunday nights.
Yes, tonight we're going to be looking at the secret of life. We want to know what that is. But before we do that, we want to hear what's happening with the full moon on Tuesday.
Yeah, so that's on Tuesday. Tuesday evening is the full moon, so it's growing towards the full moon, and it's also coinciding with. I did explain it in my video, but I'll just give you a quick synopsis of it. It's coinciding with what they call the Lion's Gate portal, which is when the Earth and Sirius and Orion's belt are all aligned, and that's known as a very auspiciously good opening. So Leo, which is where the sun is at the moment, is the sign that rules the heart. So John's meditation there is beautiful because it's exactly aligned with this energy. Is to actually, it's really the full moon is in Aquarius, which is actually the light is shining onto the full moon, and it's asking us to connect not in our heads but in our hearts. That's what this full moon is asking, and the Lion's Gate portal. Because if we're able to actually be from and use the heart as a portal and a conduit and a channel, then everything around us changes. So Aquarius is the sign of the collective, the community, other people, the greater. And Leo is the sign of the personal, creative expression, how we individually shine our light. So the way I see this full moon and everything else that's happening at the moment is that we're being shown where our blocks are to that, by mirrors, by maybe relationships or people around us. They're showing us where those blocks are, where those insecurities are, where we're blocking our light, basically. And very often, the place that we block it is here. So it's with our thoughts. So it's generally not the situation, as John always says. It's the thoughts that we have about the situation. And so the light is shining very firmly onto that. So what thoughts are we having? And it's a real opportunity for us to shift our perspective by just stepping back. So if one's triggered, to step back and say, okay, what's happening here? And to just open. And to open this center. And that actually very often dissolves the block. So there's more, but that's very in line with what we're doing here tonight, I think, as well.
So I've received a couple of memes about Lionsgate on WhatsApp, and it's like the end of the world or something, or a marvelous time. What is it all
It's not the
about?
end of the world. It's not the beginning of the world.
And how unique is this Lionsgate?
Look, it's something that happens every year.
Oh, okay.
So I think everybody gets into quite a flurry about Lionsgate because it happens every year.
Yeah.
So it's not something that happens infrequently, but it's basically, what happens is it's from the 28th of July all the way to the 12th of August is what they call Lionsgate, which is when this alignment happens. And it peaks on the 8th of August. So everybody says that this is an opening and a chance to manifest and to put your desires out there and your visions out there, which is great. I mean, it's perfectly wonderful if it is that energetic opening. And you know, when we say that something's an opening, then we're opening to the opening. So there's nothing wrong with it. But it's not something that doesn't happen often. It happens every year.
And the one thing we always speak about, and we would really urge you to take cognizance of, is don't wait. Don't wait for an event in time, something in the future, to liberate you or to be your salvation. Your salvation is not in time. It's nothing to do with the future. Salvation, in other words, the awakening to what you really are, or your divine connection, is only available to us in the present moment. There's nowhere else to go. And that leads us into tonight's topic, the secret of life. So what is the secret of life?
I don't know, John, it was your concept.
I know, I love the secret
tell
of
me
life.
what the secret of life is. But it's definitely got to do with what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I think there's more than one.
Yeah,
I
secret
don't
of
think
life.
there's one particular secret. I think it all maybe hinges from one.
Yeah, you know, secrets of life might be a better one. But really one can read that to be, what is the secret of a happy, fulfilled, successful life?
Yeah.
What would you say that is?
I would say shining your light, just being and shining your unique light. And doing it from a place of presence with an open heart. Because it's definitely not about the outcome. It's definitely not about the future. And it's definitely not about the past. So when we get caught up in that, that's where we get the blocks. And the mind comes in and creates the issues and the suffering. So for me, it's that. It's actually, we are here having a human experience, but we are spirit beings. And what do we do with that? How do we navigate that?
Yeah.
And it's moment by moment.
Yeah.
It's not reaching, as you just said, reaching for some outcome or reaching for some event or even reaching for an astrological alignment. Because I don't do the astrological alignments to do that. It's actually more than a navigational tool to help people understand the energy. But it's not to actually wait for that.
Yeah. And you mentioned there about shining your unique light, and I think that is really the secret of life, is to allow yourself to be your own uniqueness. In other words, be authentically you. And one of the things that I teach is public speaking. I teach people how to speak in public. And so often people want to be like them because they speak well. They are their idol and they look up to them. So they're reaching to be like them. And that so negates their own uniqueness and their own creative power and their own ability to communicate their unique message to the world. So the one thing that we always teach is, no, don't try and be like anyone else. Just allow your own light to shine through you, and then your communication will have real meaning to your audience. So shine your own light. I know Anita Majani, she wrote that book, Dying to Be Me. And she said, in her near-death experience, in her out-of-body experience, she really knew directly who she really was, her own magnificence. And when she came back, she shared the message for mankind is really to shine your unique light into the world.
That's it.
That's the secret of life, to shine your unique light into the world. But what blocks that shining? What blocks that unique communication of life through you? And there is only one thing, and it's what you mentioned earlier. It's the mind. The mind blocks the ability of life to shine its uniqueness through us. We as Rumi says, we are the hole in the flute that the Christ breath blows through. So life is that blowing through us. And when we have a thought, a single thought is a shutting down of that hole, of that emptiness. And the way we open to life and allow this uniqueness to flow through us, the unique expression of life to flow through us in our doingness, is not from a doingness point of view, but from a beingness point of view. So it's to make being more important than doing. Most people want to know what it is that they need to do in the world. And your uniqueness, the secret of life, is not in your doing, it's in your being. And what is really, really, really important in the secret of life, in your beingness, is how do you feel? It can almost be said that the feeling is the secret of life. Because whether you're successful or not is not directly related to the world of situations and circumstances, the world of success or failure. It's actually, how do you feel? How do you feel about what you've done? How do you feel about yourself? How do you feel about life? So the secret of life is actually in the feeling, in this moment.
Yeah, it's interesting because at the end of one's life, or when people remember you, they don't necessarily remember what you gave them. They remember how you made them feel, how they felt in your presence. That's what they remember. That's what they hold their memory of. And I think you just also said something there. You said allow. It's an allowing. It's not a doing. It's not a forcing. It's not reaching for something. Where's my creative individuality? Where's my essence? The essence is who you are. So it's very similar to this. To a diamond. The essence of that diamond, of that bright, shiny, beautiful, flawless diamond, is already there. It's always been there. And the diamond cutter cuts away at all of the dross around the diamond to reveal its beauty. But it's there. The diamond doesn't have to push or do anything. It's just that light and beauty and clarity and brilliance is already inside. And so the mind tends to, not that the mind is a bad thing, we all have minds, but when the mind is very cluttered and when the mind becomes the master, it creates that layer over the diamond, so that diamond isn't able to actually shine through. So I just see awakening and maybe the secret of life as just letting the dross fall away, those thoughts, the conditioning, the old patterns of belief. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough is a hugely, that's like an epidemic. I mean, most people have that as an issue. They feel that they're not good enough and they should be better. And they've picked that up either from schooling or from parents or from past lives. They've carried it in. And this process that we're going through is the clearing of that. But in order to clear it, you need to see it. So, if you're cutting a diamond, you need to see that there's something there that needs to be shaven away, so that actually cuts that facet, so that the light can shine through it. So so this is the revealing of what is actually blocking the light. It's removing. It's not a reaching for. It's not an adding to. It's a revealing of.
Yeah, and you said a couple of things there I'd like to add to. The one is allowing. You were talking a lot about allowing there. And so what the ego would like to do, the ego would like to be seen as the diamond cutter. It would like to see itself as the one that sorted it all out. And no, the ego is in fact the very blockage to the flow of life. And the ego of its own accord is definitely not going to dissolve itself. And what does dissolve that dross is allowing the diamond cutter, which is life, to do its work. When there's a challenge in your life, that is part of the diamond cutter's work to reveal the magnificence within you, whether it's ill health or a challenging relationship or a challenging career or rainy weather, whatever it is. That is in fact the diamond cutter at work, providing us with opportunities to surrender our will to the will of the flow of life. What do we know what the will of life is? Well, it's what's happening in this moment. It's what the flow is in this moment. To let go of the internal resistance to life and allow. That is a real secret of life, is to allow. And I believe a life allowed is a successful life. You've allowed life to unfold in a magnificent way. It's not that you don't participate. You participate fully in life. But you don't try and resist life all the time. You don't resent life in the moment. You don't build up anger and resentment to the flow of life. You allow. And one of the most important aspects of this allowing process is to become childlike, to become innocent, and to play, to allow life to dance through you. And we have an online, which most of you do know already, we have an online support group called Inner Space. And our theme for August is
playfulness.
Playfulness, yeah, playfulness. And that's one way of aligning with life, is to play, to treat each moment rather than seeing it as a race to get somewhere, see it as a dance. What the purpose of a dance is just to enjoy the step that you're taking now. So that is an important step into allowing life, is to treat life as a dance. If you're trying to force the dance, it's not much fun. If you allow the dance to unfold, and you are very flexible and very fluid and very open in that moment, you can dance beautifully and perfectly.
And if you're not worrying about what other people think.
Yep, that is it.
And if you watch people, you watch kids playing, they don't care.
Yeah.
If you think that they're clever or not, or if the game's stupid or not, they get completely immersed in the game, which means that they're completely immersed in the moment, and they're just allowing it to unfold. And I see that as kind of our purpose in life, is to allow it to unfold, as opposed to trying to force things, trying to reach for things, trying to control things as well, because we control because we're scared, because we're fearful. And I just wanted to ask you something, John, when you said ego. Why don't you explain what ego is? Because it's also a subject this month. Because we often refer to ego, and I think ego gets confused.
Wayne Dyer's acronym for ego is edging God out. And so what we have done is we've tried to make our creation more important than life's creation or God's creation. So ego is a vehicle. It's a very necessary vehicle. I don't believe in getting rid of the ego while we're on earth, because it's a very necessary body that allows us to experience this world. And the problem is not having the ego. The problem is when you believe you are your ego. So according to the ego, you are what you do, you are what you have, and you are what other people think of you. That is a self-created me. It's a little me. And it's a little me that's always vulnerable, that always needs fixing, that always needs improving. That's the ego. That's the ego. So there's nothing wrong with having the ego as long as you are its master and it doesn't control you. And one of the quickest and easiest ways of dissolving ego is through play. If you're truly playing, where's the ego? It's just in playing, not in playing to win a game or anything. I'm not talking about that type of playing, but just to enjoy this moment, because joy is the kryptonite of the ego. It dissolves the ego. You can't have joy and ego in the same place. You can't, the same way you can't have light and darkness in the same place. So ego is a mind-created sense of self. That's what it is. And it's very much based in time past and time future. So your history is determining who you are today, and your future is going to determine whether you have a successful life or not. That's the ego. That's all the ego, because the time and ego are one and the same. You can't have time without mind, and you can't have mind without time. They're exactly the same. Where who we really are is a timeless essence of awareness, of presence, which we call it, which is being. That's the vertical plane. While time and ego are on the horizontal plane, its presence on the vertical plane is our true essence, is our true being. And so the secret of life, in truth, is to disinvest yourself, to delaminate yourself from the timeline of mind and ego, and to find yourself, your real essence, to recognize yourself, to remember who you really are in the present moment. And what you find in the present moment is the timeless essence of being. That's the secret of life. To live your doingness from this place of presence. So you make being more important than doing. That's the secret of life.
And it's the secret of anybody that does any kind of creative process. Because if you're too attached to the outcome, then you're not actually necessarily in the process of the unfolding of that creation, whatever you're creating. But I think what happens as we get older, in fact the ego gets formed quite young. It's when we learn that this is my teddy bear. That's your doll, and I want mine, and that's yours. It's about me and mine. And I think when we start to delaminate, as John said, there's less attention paid to what is mine and what is yours, and what I own and what I do and what I achieve. So it doesn't mean you can't achieve or can't own, but you're not attaching your identity to those achievements or to those possessions. That's the difference. Because when you attach your identity to that, and then that disappears, then what? Then suddenly it's, oh, who am I? So it's a process of saying, well, who would I be if that did disappear? Who would I be if that person disappeared? Who would I be if I couldn't do that anymore, which has always defined me? And then you distill it, and you come to that point of awareness. And then there's not as much seriousness attached to life, because I think that what happens to us as we grow older is we just get so serious about life. And we worry about everything, and we care about everything. And what if this happens, and what if that happens? And while we're doing that, we're just missing the whole thing.
We're missing
We're literally missing the point of life.
Missing the point. Absolutely.
And that's kind of the way that most people live. Most people live in that state of when this happens, then I'll be free. When I'm X, Y, Z, then I'll be okay. You know, when you're 20, when I'm 30. When you're 30, when I'm 40. It's always sort of putting it off to another time when things are going to be easier in our surroundings, and then I'll feel more peaceful. And what John was saying earlier is everything we do is actually about a feeling. So we create because we want to create a feeling. We go on holiday because we want to create a feeling. We get into a relationship because we want that specific feeling. We want a home because we want a feeling. So it's about looking at the feeling state and having that, the feeling state of what you want to feel, and using that as your point of departure.
Yeah. And if you really boil it down, what we really, really, really want, the feeling we really, really want, is maybe a feeling of joyful peace. Joyful peace. And joyful peace doesn't come through external situations. Well, it may appear to be, but that is very short-lived. If your joyful peace is dependent on form, it's going to be a very short-lived experience, because form is always changing. Form is unstable. All form is in process. And so to link the feeling of eternity that you want here to that which is finite is not a very wise thing to do. So rather step back into being, into the vertical plane, and find what you're looking for there. Find the feeling in presence. It's here now, what you're looking for. It's not in the future. It's here now. The ego always has an externally derived sense of self. That's what it is. It's dependent on the world around it. But the true secret of life is to be independent of the world around you, to be inner dependent. In other words, to depend on the inner essence of life within you for your security, for your eternity. It's always here, always present. The present moment might appear to the mind to be fleeting. Here it is and there it goes. But that's not what is being spoken of here. When we talk about presence, we equate it to the awareness. Your awareness is always here. Your awareness always has been here. Your awareness always will be here. That is presence. Cannot not be here. You can change your name, you can change your body, you can change your gender, apparently, in these times that we're in right now. But ultimately, the awareness is always here. The awareness that you are is always here. And the secret of life is some people say it's to die before you die. And what does that mean? It means to release all that you're not, so that all you are can be revealed in its true magnificence in your awareness here and now. Not waiting for time to bring you a sense of self, not waiting for time to bring you happiness or joy or peace. Find it in this moment. The joy is here in this moment. The peace is here in this moment. The stillness underlies all the noise in the external world. There's stillness underlying all of that activity. Find it in this moment. It's here now. That's the eternal secret of life, is presence.
And it's a choice, isn't it? I mean, it's a choice because in each moment we have a choice whether we're going to get into the story and get involved in the story, or whether we're going to step back and actually reconnect with, let's call it the heart space, and open. Because as you open, you're opening to the flow of life, and as you are stepping into the story, you are then controlling, and you're trying to control the river of life rather than just being in the river. So it's a choice in each moment. Because I think a lot of people say, yeah, but that's all very well, but I mean, how do I stay in peace, in joyful peace, when there's so much ridiculousness around, when the world's in such a mess?
That's a good question.
And there's so much suffering, and there's so much darkness, and there's so much pain. How do I stay? How do I have that as a default?
I was to say, the mind will say, but I can't allow myself to be joyful in this moment. I can't allow myself to be in peace because the world out there is in a terrible state. Now, I can say to you, how does it help the world for you to be in anger or resistance or resentment? How does it actually help those hungry children? How does it help those war strife areas? How does it improve the world for you to be unhappy? Truth is, it doesn't. Your joy, your peace does improve the world. Yeah, it definitely does. It improves your biology. It improves your psychology. It improves your relationship. It improves your vocation. But it does something even more important than all of that. It actually increases the frequency, the vibration of the field of life itself. Your peace, your joy, your love is a requirement for the shifting of all of humanity. And so don't postpone it for a time when external circumstances give you permission to be at peace or to have joy. Do it now. Now is the only time that there is. Your point of power is in the present moment. Your power to change the world, to change yourself, to change the field lies only in the present moment. Do it now. The secret of life is not into tomorrow or not in yesterday. It's in presence.
I'm going to say, be it now.
Be it now. Yeah.
Because it's not a doing, it's a being.
It's a beingness.
Being.
Be it now.
Be it now.
Be the feeling you want now.
So if you want peace, be the peace now.
Yeah.
And if a worry or concern or an anger or whatever it is comes in, you notice it, you feel it, and you move back. So that's the choice that we make. And as soon as we're reacting, we're not doing that. We're doing the opposite. So it's to see it, to say, yeah, I've just been triggered. Or there's a reaction here. Can I step back? into that place of joyful peace, or into a place of now, into a place of being, even if it isn't at that moment joyful peace. Because if you stay there long enough, it can become because if you drill down further, that's where the peace is. But it's a process of doing it over and over again. And I think that's where people sort of think, well, I can't be in that state all the time. I've got too many things to deal with. I've got too many concerns. I've got no money. I can't pay my rent. I'm sick. How do I be in this state of peace? But it is when you know that it's your essence. It's there all the time. It can't not be there. And that's verified by just about every near-death experience video book that I've ever read. And if you haven't ever seen any of them, they're beautiful because they reconfirm it every single time. You hear a story of someone who nearly, left and didn't come back into the physical realm. They've all got the same message, which is there's nothing to worry about. You don't have to be so serious. You don't have to stress so much. Just be you.
And share your uniqueness with the world.
And share that uniqueness. If you've got something that you have that's unique, share it.
Share it. And share it with joy, not with a need to do.
Yeah.
Share it just with the joy of life in this moment.
Yeah.
Do whatever you can in this moment to feel better in this moment. Feel joyful. And if any of you are doubting what we said, just to carry on with Michelle was saying, just go onto YouTube and watch some NDEs, some near-death experiences. And really, it's so uplifting, and it really does peel away all the dross that the mind gets attached to. It's not important. Treat life as a comedy, as a playful comedy, instead of this serious drama, instead of this thriller, or instead of this horror movie. See it as a comedy, and take life lighter.
Yeah. It's actually quite a lovely tool, that as well. So if you are in a little bit of a triggered state, if you can step back and see the story, you can actually usually find comedy in it.
Yeah, you can. It is your life is a tremendous comedy.
So dramatic and so important. And when you think about it 2 weeks later or 2 days later, you can't even really remember what the whole drama was about. And this full moon brings out the drama because it's Leo, and Leo is dramatic and fiery and passionate, and it likes drama. So the stories are drama, and the ego goes into drama. The ego thrives on drama. That's what keeps the ego alive. So it's just to see. You can see the ego, you can see the drama, but you're not the drama if you're seeing it.
Yeah.
You can't be it and see it at the same time.
Yeah. Part of the awakening process is you can be in the middle of an argument and suddenly you just see the comedy in it all, and you start laughing at. I mean, the person you're having an argument with isn't too impressed with that, but it just becomes joyful in that moment, and that is part of the awakening process, is to see through all this seriousness of the mind and to see the joy underneath that, and to make whatever you're doing in this moment more important than anything else. Make this moment the most sacred place in all of creation. Make this moment your primary sense of focus. Yes, you have an awareness of yesterday. Yes, you have an awareness of tomorrow. But you live in the present moment. That's the real secret of living a fulfilled life.
But I think people even get confused about that, because they say, but if I'm just being here all the time, I'm not ever going to do anything.
But why not? Isn't it your joy to do?
I'm just going to be. I'm going to be this amoeba.
But that wouldn't be too enjoyable, would it?
No.
Exactly.
So exactly.
Yeah, let your beingness inform your doingness.
Yeah.
Rather than trying to do it the other way around, trying to get your doingness to inform your beingness. It doesn't work too well that way, because then you are dependent on the world around you to be a certain way. But when your joy in life, when your inner peace informs your doingness becomes an expression of that peace and of that joy and of that love and of that compassion and of that caring. And that's what the world needs more of. It needs your caring, your compassion, your empathy. That's what the world needs of.
Yeah, and you're not doing it because you're trying to make yourself feel better.
Yeah.
You're just shining your light. Very much like an apple tree. You often say, apple tree apples.
Yeah.
We shine our light because we are light.
Yeah.
but we can choose to block it.
Yeah.
And it's the thoughts that we have about everything that blocks that.
Yeah.
And the stories that we tell. And these tricky little roommates up in the attic that have got many stories going at any one time. So it's fine and it's normal for that to happen.
Yeah.
And we don't have to believe the stories.
Yeah. Yeah. And the biggest secret of life is the realization that in each and every moment you can choose. You can choose again. You can choose more wisely. You can choose to be depressed. You can choose to be angry. You can choose those vibrations. And if you want to live in that world, you can. But you can choose more wisely. You can choose peace. You can choose joy. You can choose to see the moment as playful, as a joyful expression of life. That's your choice. And we get to make that moment to moment to moment as we move through the day. It's not a once-off choice. It's a moment to moment to moment choice. In this moment, where am I choosing to put my attention? On what's wrong with life or what's right with life? Try this. First thing in the morning when you wake up, think of all the goodness in this moment. Think of all the good. Well, I've got a bed. I've got a warm duvet. I've got a roof over my head. You know, there's certain things. You know, and I've got this breath of life in me. I'm breathing perfectly well in this moment. Let that be how you start the day. And going to sleep at night, just before you go to sleep at night, just go through the blessings of your day. Go through all the really good things that happened to you today, all the opportunities of joy in your life. Go through that and look at that and celebrate that with gratitude in your heart. I say, go to sleep with gratitude in your heart and wake up with joyful anticipation for the new day ahead.
And if you've got someone that you can speak to just before you go to sleep, say what was the blessing for you today? What was the best part of your day? What did you used to say to your children?
Yeah, at dinner table we used to have, first of all, no TV or anything. We didn't have cell phones in those days, but no TV. And we used to have best things. And you know, when you've got 4 teenagers in the house, nothing good in the whole universe happened today. So then we say, okay, well, what was the least bad thing that happened to you today? And that got them to focus on their life on a daily basis about the good in life. And they say the one thing that really lasts in a child's life from their upbringing is the sense of gratitude. That's the most important thing that parents can teach their children, is gratitude.
It really is. Gratitude is life-changing. So if you haven't got a gratitude practice, then it's a really good idea to start one. So just before you go to bed, just run through what you're grateful for or what your blessings were for the day. When you wake up in the morning, because when you wake up in the morning, that's when the mind can be its most active, where you're actually now anticipating the day, and now you're worried about this, you're worried about that, and then they come zinging in. So if you fill those spaces with, I'm very grateful for this bed, I'm very grateful for this warm duvet, I'm very grateful for this pillow, this person, this cup of tea that I'm having, it fills those spaces that would be filled with worries and concerns and fears. And then it changes the trajectory of your day when you start it like that. Yeah. Because we're energetic beings. So you are starting your day on an energetic, with energetic credit, basically, in your energetic bank account, as opposed to being in deficit, which is what most people start their day in deficit.
Yeah, they do.
Because you go, oh, I've got to get up, got to go do all these things, I've got all these things that I have to do and all these worries that I have to worry about. And then it just keeps going like that the whole day. So it's just to start and end the day like that is a hugely transformational tool towards living a successful, happy life.
Yeah, to start the day with a joyful heart. What more could you want? And to choose that moment to moment during the day, a joyful heart. Surely that is a successful life, a joyful heart. I came across something earlier by Alan Watts. I love Alan Watts. Profound philosopher, thinker, etc., from the 1960s and 1970s. And he had this to say about the secret of life. The real secret of life is to be completely engaged with whatever you are doing here and now. And instead of calling it work, realize it to be play. Yeah. Let me read that again. The real secret of life, he said, is to be completely engaged with what you are doing in the here and now. And instead of calling it work, realize it to be play.
Beautiful.
And so that links into this month's Inner Space
Yeah.
theme, which is a monthly support program. If you're not on the Inner Space group, you can go to
Community.
journeysofawakening.com and join the community. You can sign up just for 1 month or for a whole year if you wish. And it is, we do need community at this time of transformation in the world of uncertainty. So to be supported by like-minded people is really necessary. It's the old tribal energy. We need that support. And Inner Space is our spiritual community.
And we need reminders.
We
We need reminders to bring us back on track.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's not a course. It's just lightly themed every month, according to the energetic alignments. And this last month we did Coming Home, which was beautiful. It was a really beautiful month. And this month it's playfulness.
Yeah, it is.
So
Why do we choose that?
Well, Leo is very connected to playfulness and play, and it's the month of where there's a lot of Leo energy.
Yeah.
It's that shining your spark, shining your light
Yes.
spark and your essence. And so it's a month to actually just celebrate. It's great to celebrate playfulness every day,
Yeah.
but there's just different themes so that we have keep sort of changing it and keeping it fresh.
Yeah. And in play, in playing, if you're playing properly, you always make the present moment more important than future or past. Yeah. So we're going to end off with a guided meditation and an affirmation for the week ahead. So we always have these cards, lots of cards here. You're going to choose a card. Choose a
I like
card.
that one.
You like that one? Yes, that's
Very
perfect.
good one.
That's beautiful. Beautiful affirmation for the week ahead. We'll share it at the end of the
I
meditation.
chose a yellow one.
Yellow. Yeah. That's a nice, joyful, playful
Joyful colour.
colour, isn't it? Yes.
All right, so let's just, I'm going to finish this off with a short meditation visualization. So just make yourself comfortable and take a beautiful deep breath in, all the way in, and then a relaxing, releasing breath out. And feel the release as you breathe out. Take another deep breath in, so breathe in for the count of 4. And then breathe out to the count of 6 or 7. Breathe out, breathe out, breathe out. Exhale. Just exhale it all. And then let's do a third deep breath in. And then let it all go on the exhale. Let it all go. Let all those worries go, all those concerns go. Just bring yourself gently into this moment. Noticing the breath as it comes in through the nose and out. Just noticing the flow of life as it moves through you. You're not forcing it, you're not changing it, you're not trying to control it. You're just noticing it. You're the awareness. Noticing. Not attaching to anything. Just being aware of it. And let's do the same with the sounds in the room. Just notice the sounds that you can hear. And let them be. If you feel your mind going into a story about the sounds, just notice that. And bring it back to full awareness and full focus and full attention on the sounds. Allow yourself to relax even more. Just do a gentle scan of your body and any area where there might be tightness or pain or restriction. Send the breath of life into that area and just relax it. Feel how easy that is. To just with your gentle awareness, relax, allow. Just allow whatever arises to arise. Without following it or changing it. Bringing yourself back over and over to this place of awareness, this place of presence. Relaxing your body more. If you find the busy mind starting to get a little noisy, just bring your focus back to the breath. Or to the sounds in the room. Tonight's affirmation is: my point of power is in the present moment. So I'd like you to visualize a beautiful yellow ball of light right in the middle of your solar plexus. I'd like you to open up the front of you. So put your shoulders back a little bit so that you're opening this front section of your body. And visualize that beautiful sun, an internal sun, inside your body. And if you can't visualize, just bring it to your awareness, and that's as good as anything. Beautiful, bright, yellow or gold light shining out from the center of you. Shining its rays all the way up your body, up, 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 into your chest, into your head, and out, and shining down through your hips and your legs and your feet, down through your arms. You might even open your arms a little. Rest your hands open. Just keep on focusing on this beautiful, bright, yellow, golden light shining out from you, from your point of awareness. My point of power is in the present moment. Right here, right now. There is nothing you have to do in this moment other than be the light that you are. And allow that just to radiate out from you. You might send that light out, or allow that light to radiate out to anybody you know who might need it personally. Anyone who you know who may be going through grief or illness or struggle in any way. Allow that light to go further to your community. Allow it to travel further into the country that you live in. Imagine a circle of light Each of us being a point of light, circling our globe. This beautiful ring of light. Radiating light towards our beautiful planet and all who live here. And now bring awareness back to yourself, back to your heart. Setting an intention for this week, this evening, to simply radiate your light. Be the light that you are. Taking a deep breath in and out. And really gently open your eyes.
Thank you, Michelle.
Pleasure, John.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us on this satsang. I'm sure in this moment there's a great radiance of light in the world. Thank you. Bless you. Have a
Thanks,
beautiful week
everyone.
further.
That's a wrap.
Night.